If you've seen this one-eyed goat frolicking around your social media feeds lately, you probably assumed it was a hoax and moved on with your life. Well, it isn't. It's very real. Here's everything you might want to know about the Cyclops goat. The Cyclops goat of India. According to National Geographic, a pretty remarkable one-eyed goat was born in a village in Assam, India on May 10, 2017. It has a rare condition called cyclopia, which occurs when the developing brain doesn't separate into two hemispheres. Only one eye socket forms, and you end up with only one central eye. Cyclopia can be caused by toxins, but it can also happen because of messed up genetics. Because of other cranial deformities that cyclopia causes, animals with the condition don't usually live very long. However, the Cyclops goat in India has proved everyone predicting his death wrong so far, and has even gained some fans. India might be the perfect place to be born if you're a cyclopic animal. There, animals, especially those with some kind of unique feature, are sacred. Since this goat was born and continues to beat the odds, it's become sort of a local attraction. According to its owner, the goat is good luck, and others must believe this too since they're flocking to the goat in droves. The goat has gotten dozens of daily visitors who want to see the miracle kid for themselves. The origin of the Cyclops. How did our fascination with one-eyed creatures start in the first place? It probably all dates back to ancient Greece, when locals discovered some old bones that didn't match anything they'd ever seen before. Already known for making up some pretty fancy myths, the Greeks got creative, such as the case with Deinotherium giganteum, a primitive elephant that once lived on the island of Crete. But because its enormous trunk left a huge hole in the middle of its skull, it's possible the Greeks found some fossils and mistook the pachyderm for a giant one-eyed monster. What else besides an eyeball would fit in that giant skull hole? As far as humans go, most with cyclopia never make it to birth, and only 1 in 13,000 live births have the condition. And no, they don't immediately start conquering villages. Cyclopia is such a severe birth defect that most babies born with it simply can't survive long. Today, we know not to believe random Cyclops propaganda, but that doesn't mean we're free from the Cyclops menace. There are many examples of modern-day Cyclops that have joined India's goat in the pantheon of one-eyed wonders.
Cyclops there, Cyclops there.
The Cyclops sheep of Idaho. One interesting case from the past actually sheds light on the cause of cyclopia. In 1957, a number of sheep in Idaho were giving birth to lambs with one eye. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture was called in to figure out what the problem was. For the next 11 years, top officials hung out in the wilds of Idaho trying to figure out what had gone wrong with that particular generation of sheep. After spending several summers hanging out with sheep, a determined researcher named Lynn James figured it out. The sheep were poisoning themselves. The corn lilies they ate during droughts contained a toxin which didn't hurt mother sheep, but did harm their fetuses. In a dubious honor, the toxin was later named cyclopamine. But hey, cyclopamine might not be all that bad. It's now being investigated as a possible treatment for tumors in humans. Thanks for taking one for the team there, sheep. The Cyclops kitten. In 2006, an adorable ragdoll kitten was born in Oregon with just one eye. Cy the kitten had holoprosencephaly, which is the clinical term for the rare congenital condition that can cause cyclopia. Combining a cuddly feline with a bizarre abnormality was viral gold in 2006, but internet cred wasn't enough to save Cy, who lived only about 24 hours. Cy almost lived a second life on display at an unusual venue when a developing creationist museum in New York purchased him. According to the museum's curator, John Adolphi, Cy's new purpose, in addition to being the museum's mascot, was able to foster debate about religion and science. While the Lost World Museum never opened, Cy did get featured on a series of pretty interesting postcards. The Cyclops shark. In 2011, a fisherman in the Gulf of California made a somewhat unusual catch, a pregnant dusky shark. When he opened up the shark, he found a Cyclops shark embryo looking back at him. The embryo was about 22 inches long and was the only Cyclops of its 9 unborn siblings. The shark was then sent to the Interdisciplinary Center for Marine Sciences in La Paz, Mexico for x-rays, where scientists confirmed it was definitely a Cyclops. It isn't the only shark of its kind, though. A few others have been discovered over the years, but they've all been embryos, since one-eyed sharks can't last long in the ocean. The Cyclops goat of Texas. Our one-eyed goat friend in India isn't the only Cyclops goat in recent years. The good old USA has had its own for a little while back in 2012. Born in St. Lawrence, Texas, the cause of its cyclopia is believed to be a hormone imbalance that didn't affect its twin, which was born with 2 normal eyes. Unfortunately, the Texan Cyclops goat only survived about 2 weeks due to a deformed mouth, which left it unable to eat properly. Death wasn't the end for this one-eyed wonder, though. He later received new life between the covers of the 10th edition of Ripley's Believe It or Not. where most people probably don't believe it, but they should. Thanks for watching. Click the grunge icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.